Fit the bearing in place using special fitting tools and a mandrel. Fit the bearing holder onto the shaft. Use special fitting tools and a mandrel. Grease a new O-ring for the bearing cover. Assemble the bearing cover with the bearing holder. Grease the threads of the bearing holder screws and fasten them using the correct torque. Grease the O-ring. Press the stationary seal into its seat. Make sure that the highly polished surface is facing out. Clean the seal face on the shaft. Apply oil to the seal surface. Fit the rotating seal unit to the shaft. Compress the seal unit with a mounting tool. Press the seal as far as it will go without forcing it. Fit the circlip. Grease the bearing. Fit the bearing to the shaft using special fitting tools and a mandrel. Check that the sleeve for the oil can pass unobstructed from the cutouts in the bearing holder. Replace the old sealing washers with new ones. Fit the 3 self-tapping screws using the correct tightening torque. Make sure to grease the screws. Grease the O-ring. In order to get the stator housing in the correct position, the junction box must be positioned just above the flange, where there is no hole for the screws connecting the hydraulic part. Grease and fit the screws using the correct tightening torque. Grease the O-ring. Press the stationary seal into its seat. Make sure that the highly polished surface is facing out. Clean the seal face on the shaft. Grease the shaft. Fit the rotating seal unit to the shaft using a mounting tool. Compress the seal unit with a mounting tool. Press the seal as far as it will go without forcing it. Coat the inner conic, the outer cylindrical surfaces, and the thread of the conical sleeve with a thin layer of grease. Notice, surplus grease can cause the impeller to become loose. Remove surplus grease from conical and/or cylindrical surfaces of shafts and/or sleeves. Grease the threads of the impeller screw and the washer. Always use a new impeller screw. Fit the sleeve, washer, and impeller to the shaft. Hand tighten the impeller screw to prevent the impeller from falling off. Place the stator housing on top of the pump housing. Tighten the screws in diagonal sequence, using the correct tightening torque. Hang the pump upright using a crane. Loosen the impeller screw so that the impeller is lowered down to the pump housing. Lock the impeller using a rod through the pump housing outlet. Tighten the impeller screw according to the specifications stated in the installation, operation, and maintenance manual. Remove the rod. Check that the impeller can rotate freely. Grease the O-ring for the oil plug and fit it into the hole. Place the pump in a horizontal position. Fill the oil housing with the amount of oil specified in the IOM manual. Grease the O-ring for the other oil plug and fit it into the hole marked Oil.